Hello, my name is Bob Eason and I teach the saxophone at Austin Peay State University in Clarksville, Tennessee. If you're working towards the Tennessee All Mid-State auditions, then this series will help provide you with playing examples and helpful tips to guide your practice and preparation. In this video, we'll be specifically focusing on the alto saxophone excerpts for grades 7 and 8. In the first line of this excerpt, there are three things that might cause problems. The first is the double dotted quarter note in the first full measure. The math behind a double dotted note value is to add 3/4 of the initial note's value to itself. In this case, a double dotted quarter note is equal to 1 3/4 of a beat. However, it might be easier to instead think about the tempo and place the single 16th note as a pickup to beat 1 of the next measure. You can practice this by subdividing the C sharp into 16th notes so that you're certain where the last 16th note falls with the pulse. Between measures 2 and 3, there is another possible issue that might cause problems. We have to slur across the break from the F to the G, and some may struggle with the response of the lower note. I have 3 suggestions for this spot. First, be absolutely sure your left thumb is releasing the octave key in time. Second, think about what your air should be doing. The 4 16th notes on beat 4 are a pickup to beat 1 of the next measure, and your air should be driving to that bottom note. My third suggestion is to do your best to be aware of the tension in your throat and your embouchure. If your throat is strained or your embouchure is clamped down, slurring down across the break will be problematic. For the low C at the end of the first line, I have 2 suggestions. The first is to be 100% set with your embouchure before you begin the note. If your embouchure is still forming as you start your air, there's a lot that can go wrong. Also, it helps to be sure your throat is relaxed and not holding tension. You can practice this by blowing hot air onto the palm of your hand. And you can also take your hand and gently massage the front of your neck. We don't want any tension here when we're playing in the low register. As you practice and prepare this excerpt, be certain you are counting the ties correctly. There are several spots that are traps just waiting to catch you, and the absolute best way to ensure your rhythm is correct is to practice removing the ties. By re-articulating the note on the beat, your mind has to think about the pulse, and then your rhythm will be correct. Once you get really good at playing the notes after the tie with solid, correct rhythm, then add the ties back in and mentally check in on the beat. You can apply this practice strategy anywhere there are ties. Another measure that might cause problems is the second measure of the third line. The correct alternation of eighth note and triplet subdivision requires thought and practice. The first thing is to start with a counting system. Whether your band program uses Takadimi or any other system, the important thing is that you have something you can say consistently. I like to use the Eastman counting system, which uses 1 lolly, 2 lolly, 3 lolly, 4 lolly for triplets, and 1 E-anda, 2 E-anda, 3 E-anda, 4 E-anda for 16th notes. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, check out the links in the description of the video explaining counting systems. You can practice this section by first counting the rhythms along with your metronome. 1 and 2 lolly, 3 and 4 lolly, 1. When you are confident your rhythm is correct, then transition to the instrument by playing the entire measure's rhythm on a single note. My last suggestion is to not take this breath but rather to breathe here instead. I'm not a fan of this breath because it breaks up the phrase, which begins here and ends here. If you can, wait until the end of the phrase to breathe. If you aren't able to play the whole phrase on a single breath, then make sure you lead with your air to the downbeat after the breath. If you have any questions, you can leave them down below in the comments, or you can send me an email at APSU. Have a great day and happy practicing.